Hello, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to talk about the Logitech G303 Shroud Edition. Alright, let's first start with the shape. The shape is pretty similar to the original G302 or G303, and yeah, it's definitely a resemblance there, but it's way more extreme. This shape didn't sell that good because it was very niche at the time, but who would have guessed that the new version is even more niche? Like, seriously. Who would have thought that? The sides on the originals were already slightly slanted, like compared to M710, where the sides are pretty flat, like a bit curvy, but from the down to the top, it's less notable. Let's say it like that. And pretty flat, and they're pretty slanted over here. And wow, on the G303 Shroud Edition, it's whole on another level. It's extremely, I think you can see it here. It's extremely slanted. It's pretty thin towards the bottom. And wow, it's chunky at the top. It really fills out your hand. I've got 18 times 10 centimeter hands, and wow. Yeah. Here you have a very similar drop down at the end, similar to the G302, and also kind of similar to the G305. Yeah, I can see that it's pretty rapid downfall on both of the not of three of the three. And yeah, the shape itself is pretty interesting. Yeah, it can also grip, like I've had the most success when gripping it where you're supposed to grip it. Like, I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, you should be able to see it. Here are some marks, because which you can see because of the transparent shell, where Shroud grips it, and in my opinion, it's the best way to grip it. It just really gives you some stability, and I performed the best by gripping it like that. But you can grip it however you want. That's just my suggestion for you. Yeah, that's... Yeah. And as usual with those diamond shapes, your pinky is gonna be further out, and this also gives you some stability, although it might definitely feel weird, especially at the start. So let's go over to the clicks. The clicks are the arm around 20 amps, the same as in the Superlight, and I gotta say, the clicks themselves are pretty good. They're very easy to press in, and whilst on the G302 and G303, whilst on the original shape, they were in front of the scroll wheel. Now they're pretty in line with the scroll wheel, I would say. Pretty tactile, but still pretty easy to press in. And yeah, I really enjoyed using the clicks. They're pretty nice. Although I gotta say, this mouse could be a lot less niche, especially for people with smaller hands, if the clicks would just go on a bit longer. I don't really see why they did not do that change. I mean, the original definitely was shorter and less wide, so I see why they don't really care about it on the original. But on this one, especially for the price, I think you want more people to use this mouse. And I really hope that it's not gonna flop like the originals did. Because the originals got discontinued after the sensor upgraded on the G303 because they barely sold. I just hope that the Shroud name just gives this a slight boost, but I don't think it did. The scroll wheel is pretty tactile indeed. It's even though it's tactile, you don't really have any bumps on the outside, like on the G303. On the MM710, you have some, I don't know, there's some engravings or something like that. Same on the G303. And yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. It's like that because, well, the originals had it like that and they want to have some resemblance. And yeah, I get that. I think they didn't fix coming from the G302 to the G303 Shroud Edition is the scroll will rattle, especially when you place it or tap. And it's sort of weird. I think it's just mainly the way it's built, because when I press in the scroll wheel, it doesn't really do anything. You don't notice it, but when you don't, you notice it. I hope I clarified this to some extent. And yeah, so that's like still an issue. They didn't really fix it because, well, it was like that on the original. I think that seems like an ongoing problem with this mouse. What's pretty different compared to the original are the skates. On the new ones, they are like on the G30, on the G Pro Superlight. They were like pretty huge already. But here it's like more than half of the mouse is just PTFE. It's extremely smooth. Like this GTFX I'm currently have on my desk is so rough, especially with like those smaller skates. But like if I use the G303, I barely notice the roughness. It's insane. And then when we go over to the G303, sort of interesting, I don't feel it. Maybe it's because of Tiger Eye skates. But that's another story. Yeah, very surprisingly, the sensor is the Logitech Hero sensor. Woo! Yeah. Well, there is no issue with the sensor. You don't notice it. The battery life is phenomenal. Tracking everything is totally fine, and I really like it. The sensor is, I'd say, perfect. Yeah, that's most of the things. Let's just finish off by talking about the build quality and the weight. This mouse weighs around 74 grams. If you pull out the tray to the Mac, if you literally pull it out, you can reduce it by 2 grams. If you swap the battery and remove some screws, you can easily get it down to 60 grams, but that's a lot of, like, really a lot of work as far as I know, according to Bearded Bob, so I really didn't do that. And besides that, I'm also probably not gonna keep this mouse, although it's very, very nice. And I would definitely just no. I haven't done that though. Yeah, well, the build quality is phenomenal, as you would hope with a 74 gram mouse. And yeah, so what can you upgrade on this mouse? Well, you can first of all lower the weight by a lot. You might be able to swap out those clicks, but I don't really think you need to do that. And the skates could definitely be upgraded to some more rounded ones, like core pads are out yet. I don't know about any Tiger skates for this mouse. And yeah, that's basically it, I think. Yeah, I hope so. Anyways, I hope you like this review. If you want to get this mouse, definitely do. If you have some issues, maybe you could still refund it. I didn't really have any issues besides the very interesting shape. I really would have loved it if they just kept the original shape and put everything in here. And like even this at the same weight, then it would be fine. Like 70 grams, original shape. Would be fine by me, to be honest. Although 60 grams would still be preferable, like even on this one. But also the battery life is 140 hours, so yeah, you take some, you lose some. Oh my god, and how? I almost forget it. This mouse has USB-C, and the adapter is also USB-C, so it's... And they, like, in terms of the features, this mouse is perfect. You know, only a low weight and a less niche mouse shape, or some more time with the mouse, depending on whether or not, would be the only thing that would make this mouse better. Go for it. Good mouse. Anyways, stay home, stay safe. Leave a like and a comment down below. Cheerio.